Welcome back. Up next, we have Forum Daily's energy update with Dan McTeague, Senior Petroleum Analyst at Gaswizard.ca.
Well, thank you for that, Nima. And last week when we last spoke, I mentioned that the second week of January is always an interesting time, and this year promises not to disappoint when it comes to energy prices. We've gained or seen oil pick up about $8 a barrel. It's good enough for about a 10 to 12 cent a liter increase overall. And for some regions that haven't seen that, well, get ready. This is now reality starting to hit in. And while there's some stuff on the side that is important for energy investors, things like, for instance, maybe the U.S. Fed letting up a little bit on increasing interest rates because inflation may not be as bad as expected. The bigger, more fundamental problem is a continuation of what has been going on for about, that's past 7-8 years. And that's a government-inspired divestment from oil and gas, the energy that we need. This morning I was reading something from Blacklock's reporter saying that 21% of Canadians are now struggling to make ends meet, not on food, that's one thing, but now, of course, on heating and furnace oil and other forms of natural gas. Prices have gone up. It's starting to hurt Canadians. So it's one has to really wonder, to put it very bluntly, the sanity of those in Ottawa, Liberals, New Democrats, Greens, Bloc, who are willing to heap on more carbon taxes, not just now, but on April the 1st, and increase the price of everything, diminish the value of the Canadian dollar in the process by blocking pipelines. It doesn't just leave Canadians in an awful situation. Ask Germany how they feel about Canada refusing to supply the rest of the world. Japan being told, hey, we'll sell you metals so you can go make more batteries and you can wean yourself off your dependence on Russia. The real issue here is why the country with the third largest provable reserves in the world, proving that they beat all the so-called environmental, social, and governance standards in the world, refuses to allow itself the ability to help and come to the world's rescue. Or that we have so-called friends south of the border of the United States, the Biden administration, saying to heck with Canadian oil, even though it's done to the betterment of Americans and Canadians. We'll just go get our oil from Venezuela, or maybe we'll try Saudi Arabia, or maybe we'll even try to do a side deal with Iran. Whatever the case may be, I think it's becoming very clear to Canadians that given the cost of living, affordability is now out the door, and our diminished standard of living, I think a lot of Canadians are starting to have second thoughts about why gasoline, diesel prices, which are now heading up pretty much across the country, are really something that can sustain their support for this government. I'll leave that for the political commentary later on, because I can tell you, as a Liberal member of Parliament of 18 years, my party would have never accepted, the Liberal Party would have never accepted the kind of circumstance we have today in which we ignore our resources in pursuit of some pie-in-the-sky technologies that don't exist, won't exist, and for which regions of the world that have invested trillions, like Europe, have demonstrated that they have to go back to the good old days, not of using natural gas that can be given by Canada and oil, but in fact coal. So here we are on the precipice of what could be this across Canada, an increase on an average of about 5 to 10 cents a liter. So this time next week, if you're not happy with the $1.48 you're spending in Toronto, it'll be $1.54. Montreal, I'm looking at another 6-cent increase, so they'll be up to $1.72. The Maritimes will be looking at a one fell swoop increase of 10 cents a liter. So places like Newfoundland, which don't yet have a carbon tax, but will on July the 1st, where it'll increase 15 cents a liter, are already currently paying in the $1.60 range. Look for them to move a lot closer to $1.68. Nova Scotia, $1.64. And of course, New Brunswick at $1.58, 59, along with PEI. If I'm looking further west, Advantage Alberta will continue to see prices in the 126 to 132 range. That's Edmonton and Calgary. The only difference there is gas retailers with suppressing their retail margins or using other ways to ensure their prices remain stable. British Columbia, look for a similar increase, 6 cents a liter, especially Vancouver. You'll be pushing back to 185 this time next week. And the rest of BC, the interior, probably in the area of about ranging between $1.59 at the low end all the way up to $1.69. So, Nima, that's it for the country. Look for higher prices this week. And of course, we start that period of time in which prices will eventually make their way to an average of about $2 a liter come the beginning of June, end of May, the May 24 weekend. That's it for this week. Let's talk next week. Thanks, Nima.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. Again, that was Dan McTeague, Senior Petroleum Analyst at Gaswizard.ca. Gaswizard is a fuel price prediction website. Dan is also the president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. All right, stay with us. When we return, we're going to hear from Catherine Murray, the host of the Buck Stops Here. We'll unpack the latest from the cryptocurrency sector. Forum Daily's crypto and digital asset update is up next. After that, we'll take a look at the major news stories and headlines from around the world. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.